Hi everyone and welcome to today's Drama Hospital Recap. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos or recaps. Let's get right to it. So at Casa Corinthos, where the interestingness has ramped up a bit, so they're kind of mean to this poor girl, to be quite honest with you. And they're like asking why she showed up out of the blue without making contact. And she's like, I did make contact. I was told that Carly wanted to meet me. And then Jax is like staring down Carly because he's obnoxious. So Carly tells Jax that she must have told Nina too late and Nina must have gotten in touch with her like after. And Sunny's like, let's just move on, like it's already, so let's ask her questions at the very least. So Nina, in my opinion, could at least told Carly that she had already emailed the woman, so in case this woman showed up it wouldn't like cause an issue. So Michael takes Nell Carly's saying that Nell showing up does change things because Jack's like, this changes nothing, like goodbye now. And she's like, no, this changes everything. She's already here. So Jack suggests calling Nina because he doesn't believe Carly. And Carly's like, yeah, let's call Nina. So Michael takes Nell, just Nell, not Nellie, just Nell, Nell outside while they all fight it out inside. And she's like, you're so different. Why are you so different from everyone? And he's like, I'm just taking advantage to get away from them. But like in a really nice way, and it's kind of cute. And I think they're setting up a potential couple, if I'm quite honest with you. But what do I know? We'll get to that later. Ika! Hi! Oh, hi, Ika! Oh, Ika, break. E-cat break, E-cat, hello, hi. Okay, so where were we? So, Carly, Jax, and Sunny come out and say that Nina confirmed everything and Carly wants to hear her story. So she shows her scar, gives the date of the transplant, and says that her parents had taken her on a long car ride, bless you, and told her that she was sick and needed an operation. Sorry, I have Olympic updates coming up, so if it does that, that's why. So they told her she was sick and needed an operation, even though she felt fine. And she woke up in a room that she's not sure was in a hospital, and was pretty sure it wasn't. So she believes that her parents sold her kidney, and she had overheard her parents talking about money trouble, and then after that there was no money trouble. So she says she used to be really, oh by the way, her parents have since passed, so there's no way to talk to them about this. So she says she used to be really angry with her parents, and when she would be in pain and get sick, because that happened a lot after the operation, she would get angry all over again. And Sunny asks, like, why, what do you want out of this? And she's like, I want to put it behind me, and I made a difference in someone's life, and I like to see that difference. So Jax is acting super weird, so I think y'all are right. And honestly, him being in on it wasn't even on my radar, but now it's definitely 1,000,000% on my radar. So he wants an aside, and Sunny's suspicious of her story too, but Carly wants to have her tested to see if she's a match, and Jax thinks they should just give her money and send her on her way. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. So he says he doesn't want Jocelyn to find out and blame herself, and like Sunny's like, we don't know, this is a lead, we don't know, and I'm like, well, that's why we investigate. And like, wasn't that what Carly was saying? Like, they're like, Sunny's like lecturing Carly about how they have to, like, follow up on this, but Carly was saying have her tested, not like, oh my god, it's definitely all true, let's just talk to her right now. Like, I don't understand that whole thing. At Perks Coffee, Jason calls Sam, gets to her voicemail, says he heard she's at the hospital, and apparently the sitter took Jakes to Elizabeth's grandmother's house. So was that planned, or was that like he now needs to see Sam? So, because if that was planned, that was a very short visit. So Elizabeth tells him that Sam fainted, and that she's on like the 10th floor or whatever, and he goes off to see her. At the hospital, Sabrina's leaving a message for Michael that she has good news, and Amy and Sabrina are talking, and Amy tells her how much the medical staff loves Teddy, and he's being released, and they're all gonna go say goodbye to him. So Joe, remember Joe, Carlos's twin, older, I'm not sure, brother, but that looks just like him, works there, kind of. And I'm so happy because I love that actor, and Carlos kept getting backed into a corner, and I'm glad that he can start fresh and have some like actually probably interesting and like more in-depth storylines. And Anna is not gonna be happy though. So it's a research fellowship. He doesn't like work there, he's just doing research there, and he doesn't have his accent. and I'm still getting used to that because it's very different. So he wants to do better for his nephew and Sabrina, and he says sometimes he wonders what it would have been like if they had left Puerto Rico together to pursue medicine, but he like wishes her a great life with Michael. He doesn't mean it like as an underhanded kind of thing, at least I don't think he does, but what do I know? Fast forward to the end of this video. So yeah, I was wrong about something majorly. She goes to visit Teddy, and then apparently comes back, and Joe and Sabrina run into each other again, and he asks her to dinner at the cafeteria since she can't pick Teddy up yet because he's asleep. Also at the hospital, Sam and Jason are having a baby, a drama-free baby, remember? Because we don't have to worry about who the father is, and everything's going to be fine. So apparently she didn't think she'd get pregnant again, so they weren't exactly taking precautions, and he's happy he got to give good news for once because he doesn't really get to give a lot of good news. And then Jason shows up, and Dr. Finn goes to check on other tests, which just must have been super confusing for Jason because he knew Dr. Finn with a different face, actually technically 2 different faces, and then to be introduced to him as the first time as now a third person, as you know, that must have been, oh, Jason. So Dr. Finn's gonna go run other tests so she can tell him the good news. So now Jason doesn't feel well, and he says it's stress, but she's like, no, you have a fever. And then Dr. Finn comes in, and she asks him to take a look at him. And apparently his blood pressure's low, and he has a temperature of 102, which is not good. I've had 104 once. It was miserable. So he's gonna run tests, but Jason wants to go home, and while Jason's whining about wanting to go home, Dr. Finn just goes ahead and does the needle, takes his blood, and Jason's like, hey, wasn't nice, and like it's just the whole thing was like really cute because Sam was like, he's sorry, he's like, no, he's not sorry. It was really cute. At Windermere, Lulu is waiting for Hayden, and she says she needs to talk to her about Nikolas. So Lulu tells her what happened and that Nikolas was murdered for realsies this time. Literally with that word. I'm just kidding, not with that word. Nobody says for realsies and murder. That's just silly. So Laura apparently has just told Spencer. So after Lulu leaves, Hayden is looking at the Gatsby book, and someone's at the door, and it's Elizabeth. She's there to see Laura, but instead she's going to talk to Hayden. And Hayden asks if Elizabeth, well actually not asks, tells Elizabeth that Elizabeth must have been in on this whole thing. So Elizabeth is offended, and she blames Hayden for Nikolas faking his death in the first place. That led him to actually getting real murdered. So Hayden brings up how Nikolas tried to have her killed, and Liz is like, yeah, but then he wanted to make it up to you, and he was really in love with you and wanted to marry you, so that should have, erased the whole attempted murder thing. And I don't think that's how these things work, to be quite honest with you. And kind of disappointed in Elizabeth, so that kind of went down like that fast. So Hayden brings up how Nikolas was keeping the secret for Elizabeth, and this whole thing goes back to her. So basically, yeah, you know how it went. So Hayden blames Elizabeth for Nikolas feeling pressured to shut Hayden up. So this whole thing in Hayden's mind goes all the way back to Elizabeth for forcing Nikolas to keep the secret about Jason because his reasons for keeping the secret weren't strong enough. It was mostly just about her. In her eyes. I don't even have the energy to keep up with that whole thing anymore, to be quite honest with you. At the Quartermaines, Tracy catches Dylan as he's about to take his medicine, and she's like, hey, what you doing? And he's cagey as possible, and after initially for like 5 seconds thinking it's something not, prescribed or anything, you know what I mean? She puts 2 and 2 together really fast and thinks it's Kiki that gave him, an STI. So Tracy gives him a hard time, and he throws her indiscretions back at her. So yeah, he is her son, definitely. So Lulu comes in and asks Tracy if she's heard from Luke, gives them the abridged version of the whole thing, skeleton, earring, and bracelet. Tracy wants to think the best, and Lulu tells them they have to prove the jewelry doesn't belong to him, and asks Tracy if she has anything with his DNA. So she's like, nope, I have nothing. He took everything. And Dylan's like, wait, I saw Luke's baseball cap upstairs. Let me get it. And Tracy's like, then go get it. She doesn't seem too happy about it though. Tracy assures Lulu that Luke is alive, and maybe she knows something. Who knows? And now end scene already. What? So Joe and Sabrina have a nostalgic moment, and Michael finally gets Sabrina's message, but she's already in the elevator with Joe, and he leaves her a message. The Carly crew, aka Carly, Sunny, and Jax, the Carly crew, come back in. Carly thanks Nell and asks if she'd be willing to prove it. And I feel like she could have said like, hey, would you mind taking a DNA test so we can run it, so, you know, something less accusatory than prove it, you know? Dylan brings the hat down. Tracy reaches out and says that if Lulu and Laura need anything to just call her, what's in my eye. And Lulu tells her a little about the goose chase that Laura's on. Tracy seems a little more shaken up after Lulu leaves, but that could just be me. Hayden says she really did love Nikolas. It wasn't about trying to control ELQ. And Elizabeth says, well, then you really blew it because Nikolas really loved you too, and you messed the whole thing up. Finn brings up the contagious card to keep Jason in bed, and Sam follows Finn out and asks what he thinks could be wrong with Jason. He says he thinks, based on where they've been, it could be malaria, and she needs to be tested too because it could complicate her pregnancy. So I had literally less than 24 hours of a no drama pregnancy when I said, oh, we should be free and clear until the baby's here, and then, you know, everything's, you know, up for grabs. But nope, less than 24 hours and malaria. I guess that's just what happens on General Hospital. Alright, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. And I will see you tomorrow on time for more General Hospital. And I hope you have a great day. And happy Olympics! Woo!